how do you balance saying yes, the million things you might already have on your plate, and life outside work? Let's start with Lissi.
So balance and saying yes, I must confess, in my earlier career, I just feel like you have to put your time in. In order to get here to the place where we are today, having the work-life balance early on in your career is very difficult because you have to say yes. And that's the bottom line. We don't, I too am a first generation college student. I don't have those connections in the workplace that people have. And you need to be able to establish those connections with people and make them want to have you on their team. And if they don't know you, you don't look like them, they're not gonna want you on their team. They don't have any idea who you are. And people like to put people like themselves on their team. So you say yes, you do a little less time on something else that you may or may not enjoy, but that's at the beginning. And then, but always give yourself at the end of the day, like an hour to yourself. Spend time with your kids. And then I always was up, as I'm sure we all were, I'd put my kids to bed, we'd have dinner. Dinner was a big time for us, even though it was like one of those, the work schedule thing, but the breakfast, we always had breakfast, and we always have, I tried to have dinner as much as possible together. And then whatever time at night, once the kids were in bed, I was working again. So that's how you find the time. You don't sleep very much, but once you get to the success that you're at, then you can do a little more balancing, but you have to put your time to get there. I feel like that's one of the things that there's no easy path. There's no like, oh, we're going to just be successful because, unfortunately for people like myself, that I didn't have, like, there's some people that can do that. They can just, they have all the connections, they can get up and, they're going to become partner just because their parents knew all these people and they're going to get work, but that's not the way it is for myself anyway. So that's my suggestion. You got to put in the work, and then you'll reap the rewards later.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. And I think, sometimes we see people on social media or on media and, we think they're an overnight success, not realizing, we see all the glory, but never hear the story, how much work they put in. And especially as women of color, right, we do have to put in the work 100 times more because, we're seen sometimes by our negative stereotypes, which is unfortunate. And we have to show them like we are capable, we can go out there and make things happen. And of course, there's always going to be things that we can't control, right? And we have to understand that. But yeah, in the beginning of anything, right? Whether you're in the law industry, whether you start a job, whether you're in entrepreneurship, it's going to suck in the beginning, right? They say embrace the suck.
Embrace the suck.
Yeah, you're
like
going to,
that.
yeah, like yes, as an entrepreneur, you get to create your own schedule, but that schedule could be like 24 hours straightforward, right?
Right.
Even as a lawyer, you could be working 60 hours straight, right? In the beginning, because, you're showing them like, I am capable of doing this. I can make this work. And, will it pay off? It will. And then there's times where, it might not, that's just real life, right? We also have to be, we also have to see both sides of it. But we keep moving forward, right? Especially if you want to create the change that you want, you just keep moving forward. Everything happens for a reason. You have to look back and see why things happen for a reason. Like I mentioned, it could be a blessing or a lesson, right? And we just kind of have to figure that out as we keep moving forward in our journeys. So, I love that you mentioned that. I love that you mentioned like, yeah, I didn't grow up with connections, so I had to do things differently.